Hello, ladies, and welcome to the Beauty Shaman. And today we are starting part one in a series of 4 videos where we're going to talk about fitness over 50. And my guest for all 4 videos is the fabulous Deborah Atkinson, author of You Still Got It, Girl, the After 50 Fitness Formula book. Woohoo! I got all that. And curator of the go-to website for all things health and fitness, flipping50.com. Hi, Deborah.
Hey, so good to be here.
I love doing this.
Say it once.
Yeah, I know. It's so much fun. It's so great to have you. So these are hot topics. We're going to cover 4 hot topics, 4 major questions that women our age wake up in the morning and go, what is this, right? So what's number 1? What's our first topic?
Number 1 is belly fat, muffin top, whatever you want to call it, that spare tire in the front. We're going to address that. So number 1, let's go through this by what are the mistakes we're making, first of all, because I want to get your attention, all right? So don't go away, ladies. We're going to answer these like spitfire here. So the mistakes we're making is we try to go right for like what core exercise is going to help me get rid of that. And the truth is no single core exercise is going to target that. So can you spot reduce, spot remove? I think we've learned that lesson, but it's hard. It's hard to get that one and think, oh, really? I can't, but you can't. We can spot tone, but that's going to tone the muscle underneath. That's still not going to help you get rid of that belly fat that got there. So let's come to this point. Let's talk about why it got there in the first place, because that's, of course, going to be a part of the solution. So it's here now, and it moved in, took up residence, because probably we're going through hormone change elsewhere in our body. Whether you have hot flashes and night sweats and you know it, you're feeling it, or you're still feeling pretty good and you haven't had all these things that your friends are talking about yet, under the hood, those changes are happening. We just know late 40s, 50s, that's going to be a time of transition for some of us. We may sweat it out and others of us may just sail through, but the hormone change is happening. And that's part of it. It makes us more susceptible to negative effects of stress. And cortisol really likes to help us put belly fat there. So here's the way it works. If estrogen levels are higher, then cortisol level like gets to have its way with us. And that sounds a little backward because we think during menopause, don't our estrogen levels go down? They do, but we're talking about relativity. So progesterone and estrogen are supposed to be on this even balance, even though they may be lower than when we were 20 or 30. But if cortisol is in the picture, you're under stress, girlfriend, at all. At all. I mean, you're not sleeping. You got a relationship issue. The job is wreaking havoc with you. Something else is going on. Maybe it's your kids, your parents. Then cortisol blocks progesterone. So then relative estrogen is high, right? So you've got now estrogen and the cortisol, and they both put more belly fat here, especially when insulin is released. And it is anytime we eat. And if we're reason for a glass of wine to calm us down and soothe us, then even more. So that insulin rise because the sugar comes in. It's kind of that trilogy of the worst case scenario for belly fat, because cortisol can relocate fat cells to your belly. You can take baby fat cells and grow them to big fat cells. You know, it can do a lot of superhuman things we think is pretty amazing, but not really. We don't love it. So that's the problem. That's what's causing it. So how do you get rid of it?
Can I just make a comment about wine?
Yeah.
That's my comment about wine. I had to sob briefly. I'm a huge fan of red wine. I think we've been out, and you know me. I love red wine. So this is it's a little set, but I think it is more like just cut it way back, right? Just only drink at certain, like don't do it every day. Like really modulate that, right?
Yep. It's just not your best friend right now. And it doesn't mean it won't be okay again at some point. But if you're really struggling with it, if you eliminate that, you'll probably eliminate a lot of good things and temporarily. So like you said, you'll get to a point where you feel like, okay, I'm a little back in control. I feel like I'm me in my own body again. Then you can try the occasional and enjoy it and savor it, don't just down it. So great comment. So what do you do? So here's what we like for reducing stress. Number one, that's your number one thing. So if you can't think of a way, you can't eliminate the kids, you can't eliminate the parents, you can't
We're
eliminate.
trying, right? We're trying to get rid of everybody, but no, go ahead.
Then you've got to figure out a way to, how do I add joy, right? So that you have more resiliency and you can deal with the stressors better. They're not going to go away, but they won't be perceived by you as being quite so bad if you laugh a little bit more often. That's a big one. But so now to the exercise. Interval training is great. 1 or 2 times a week, totaling the time that's about 45 minutes and no more than that. So we tend to go all or nothing, right? A little bit is good. I must do that every day. That'll drive you back in the other direction to more cortisol. So 1 or 2 times, and Monday and Thursday, and then other times exercise at different levels, but not always repeating intervals. That's the best way to go about reducing cortisol. And then you're going to reduce the risk that insulin coupling with it is going to put more belly fat here, and you get better results. So that's one. And weightlifting all over. So your body loses weight collectively. So this will be a common theme as we talk about these other trouble spots, but you can't lose weight in this one place. If that's the first place you notice it coming on, it'll probably be the last place, honestly, you lose it. But you'll lose weight all over. You'll begin to look better and feel better all over. And when your tone is better all over, you're carrying weight better. You'll notice it a little less, and your clothes are still going to fit a little better. We want to raise your metabolism by hitting your major muscle groups. So, Suzanne, that means, if you can, with your knees and your hips in their status, do squats and lunges. If not, do with an exercise ball, lie on the floor and do bridges, lifting your hips up. So less stress to that lower body, but still stressing the muscles. And then hit your chest presses and row or pulling kind of actions. Even though that feels like, well, that's not core exercise, it engages your core. We're always bracing. And so last but not least, don't suck in. I got this question just today. Someone wrote me and said, Deborah, I don't remember all the time. I keep forgetting that I need to pull my belly in. And I know that's going to help me with my lower back and it'll help flatten my stomach, but I can't remember to do it. What do I do? And I wrote back, probably not the answer she expected. I wrote back, really, you don't want to draw in. You don't want to suck that navel to your spine. All the cues that we've gotten, we now know that actually that makes your core muscles weaker and it weakens the protection in your lower back. What we want to do is brace. So take your hands and just put them right here. So I'm going to show you my better half right here. So I'm going to put my hands right here over my belly and rib cage. I want you to take a breath. And you can kind of feel that expand, right? So keep your hands there. Now exhale like you're blowing out a straw. And I want you to keep blowing out until you're kind of almost coughing. You're really empty. Can you feel the muscles tightening there? All the way out, all the way out. And you feel your diaphragm pushing the air out, right?
Yeah.
But now it's pretty darn tight, right?
Yeah.
That's an excellent kind of contraction. It's a bracing move. And if you had your hands here, now you can't, right? But if I was going to throw you a heavy ball, you would brace to catch it. And it's that bracing kind of activity that actually gives us a flatter belly. So sucking in doesn't really do much good for the muscles that we want to tighten and tone, but bracing does everything. So when you plank, that's what we're doing, is bracing. Or you're doing a push-up, you're bracing that core. Nobody has to tell you to do it. You simply have to do the activity. Those are the better kinds of things to do. No more crunches, no more sit-ups. Because those
interesting. No more crunches. Wow. Okay.
Yep. Those forward flexion kinds of activities can be really hard on the lower back. And, if you're pulling it all, you've got this nodding thing going on. They call this text neck. I mean, it's literally a thing now in 2018. And we don't need to promote more of that. We need to retract. We need to open up. So bracing kinds of activities are so much better all the way around, but they're the ones that actually make you appear trimmer and thinner and more in line, as opposed to, how many of us really want a six pack? I mean, do we want to see that, or do we just want to look better when we turn sideways in the mirror,
Yeah.
right? And feel our waistband not dig into us? That's the secret. So, a little interval training, a little heavy weight training for the whole body, and bracing exercises. But you don't have to spend a lot of time doing core only. If you're doing the other two, you'll be doing a lot of good.
That's great advice. I mean, those are basic things that I feel like I could go to the gym right now and I could do that. And I know
Yeah.
you also said it doesn't have to be a day every single day. You're talking about breaking this up to 3 or 4 days a week, really breaking it up for shorter amount of time, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you can do your intervals Monday and Thursday. You can do your weight training Tuesday and Friday. You can take a long walk, and that's to decrease your stress more than to burn fat, quote unquote. But here's the thing: if you decrease your stress, you will be allowing your body to naturally burn fat easier all the time.
I love that because that also takes in our emotional state. And I think we so much want sometimes to separate our emotional state, our mental state, our physical. We want to compartmentalize because we're taught that really in society to compartmentalize. But I love that you bring it all together, the hormones, like you just bring it all together into how can we really maximize our fitness, our health, everything together.
Absolutely. It's the whole package.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thank you, Deborah. I really appreciate this advice on the core, which I love that. I'm going to take that to heart. So thank you, ladies, for watching our number one in our series with Deborah Atkinson about fitness over 50. Please visit her website at flipping50.com for more information. And stay tuned. I will be releasing these videos one a week for the next 4 weeks. Thanks for watching.